Hey, season 2, episode 12, Cattle Drive Live. I don't know how long this cattle drive is, Corey Thompson, but right now we're 12 miles into it. So
we are whipping and riding.
We'll have the herd shaped up and broke by the time we get to where we're headed. So. Hey, big night plan, something me and you obviously have been looking forward to. It's three of our best buddies, three guys that are I say they're industry icons. Would you say that?
You bet, absolutely. In terms of presentation of cattle and always having their stock looking their best, I'd say they'd be in everybody's short list.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be fun to get to them. And this episode today, this frame episode is sponsored by Matt Lautner Cattle. And just last night, we had a chance to visit with Matt about his travels out in Ohio. Hey, this evening, Corey and I have the pleasure to visit with Matt Lautner with Matt Lautner Cattle. He's been out east recently traveling, doing herd visits. And Matt, good to have you on this evening. Tell us about your travels and tell us what bulls you're noticing are working out east.
You betcha. I've been out in the eastern market for the last 3 weeks since March 10th, and we often get asked where I think breeders need to be using King Cobra, and I am here. And based off of King Cobra's first year prospect and fat steer winnings, we can definitely say that King Cobra makes best with a club calf bred or influenced female. And the I am here we've seen click on a wide variety of cows, but I think he clicks the most consistently with a nearly 100% success rate on I-80 females. So if you have a club calf bred female or an I-80 female, I would go that route. There's obviously other ways to breed the bull, but as we go through time back in the 2000s, 2010s, there's always that money mating. And I think those matings are similar to Monopoly out of a whiskey cow in the early 2010s and Heat Wave out of a Who Made Who cow back in the early 2000s for all you club calf historians out there. But anyways, if you weren't paying close attention, you might say that those matings were a fluke. But when you see it over and over out here on the road, it's not really a fluke. It's just that genetic makeup just lining up just right. So I guess that's my update from out in the east. We're getting ready to head west to Kansas and Colorado, and then up through Utah, Wyoming, and Montana. So if you'd like me to stop by and take a look, don't be afraid to reach out.
Absolutely, Matt. And what is that number for someone to reach out to you and get a hold of you?
The office number is 515-391-9540, and my telephone number is 515-450-2800.
Good deal. Well, hey, you'd be careful on the road, and we'll get an update from you here before too long and your travels out west, and we'll see how those things overlay with each other.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
There you have it, Corey Thompson. Update from the road from Matt Lautner and his bulls.
Yep. Exciting time of year for cattlemen. Watching them new cattle grow and progress. And it's great to hear from those guys reporting back to letting us know what they see in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And from one semen trader, here we go to another. We will cue the old red wagon's coming in tonight a little bit. I think he's still out in the east.
Hi, boys.
Hey, Jake.
Gets me every time.
I can't hear you.
You hear me? Jake, you got you?
How about you, Jake? Where you at? Uh-oh. We're having technical difficulties.
I can't hear you.
You can't. I don't know. You're not muted. Man, I don't know. Hey, we'll have to knock him off here and text him and tell him the log out. Whoop, he said, hold on. Can you hear us now, Jake?
Hey,
well, we'll get right back to him.
Get him going, but
I bet if he'll log off and come back to us, that'd be good. We'll just move forward real quick and talk about some of these sale reports at the herd report this week, brought to us by our friends at CCI Live. Corey.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into the steer bidder sales this week. They got 3 great steer sales tonight, closing tonight. Chaplin Cattle, Chappie down there in Oklahoma, Tracy Gretzka and the Gretzka Show Steer Crew, and Win Show Cattle. We got them sales coming up on their docket here, and then tomorrow there's 2 steer sales. The Floyd Cattle Company and the Priest Genetics and hair sale is coming up here tomorrow night. So look for those sales. This past week they got their high sellers for Embry Cattle Company. They had one an American steer sells for $85,000, and in God We Trust steer and a full sib sold for $23,000 in the same sale. Congratulations to the Embry crew. Jackson Cattle Company sold a rumor mill composite Charolais female for $22,500. The Bordertown crew down there, Bordertown Genetics sale, they sell one for $29,500 and one for $20,000 steers. Also one for $22,500 that wasn't in God We Trust. Then we got the Webster crew there, Ty Webster. He sells a Primo heifer for $19,500 and a No Limits heifer for $11,500. Brock Welshins, he sells Here I Am steer for $35,000. That was his top seller. And then Priest Cattle, or Laramie Priest down there, Priest Genetics, sold a Muddy Bottom steer for $28,000 and a Here I Am steer for $48,000. And then we wind up with the Floyd Cattle Company sale. They sell 7 head and average $22,850 on 7 full sibs that were Here I Am's out of their 16-1 donor. And the top 2 were $46,500 and $39,500. Sales were sure strong this week across the board there on Steer Bidder.
Oh, absolutely. And from Steer Bidder to SC, they stayed strong. Matt Buss reports their Pawnee sells them last night, sells 22 lots, average 7,600, sells a front and center for 16,000, a Huff and Puff for 12, and then God We Trust for 14, and a Here I Am 2, the Lautner bull, not to be mistaken, 16,000. Colby Collins may still be selling them, buddy. He sells one last night for 75,000 and 6 more over 20,000. Willie Weiss and Rosebud crew did a drive marketing with us the other night. They sell 4 heifers over 29,500. Dave Allen's Bar A crew, they sell 14 head of them. Average $9,022. The Leverage daughter of 25,000 was their high seller. And the reported Sullivan Farm sells 12 lots, average 70.50. Interesting part there, Corey, they sell them to 8 different states. So good sales this week. So, hey, I think he's back. We don't have to play the Red Wagon video again, but he's back with us.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Every time my phone rings, I lose connection. So I'm sorry. So,
oh gosh,
we'll have to Paige and I are going to have to figure this out.
Yeah, there'd be one of these other guys will be calling you here in a minute just to knock you off.
I know it. I hope not. God Almighty.
Hey, tell us something. You're in the Seaman Wagon and Seaman Demon out there in Ohio. I heard. Tell us how that works and tell us how you operate a business out of a car.
This is basically my mobile office. And so this year I purchased this car. I bought a little Ford Flex, which basically has the same chassis as the Ford Expedition I had last year, except it's a lot more fuel efficient. So with fuel the way it is, I wanted to get something that was a little more fuel efficient, get something that was a little bit more cost effective for me, because I'll put 60,000 miles on this car from the 3rd week of February to about the 1st week of June. And So I basically live in this car. I am going to go home Wednesday for our bull sale, but I've been gone for 6 weeks. So I've been in this car for 6 weeks going door to door, and I'm going to try to finish up Ohio for me tomorrow. I was here, of course, for the Ohio Beef Expo, but I've been here for 10 days, and I'm going to finish up. So I'm actually in Lima, and I'm going to be going up to Northwest Ohio and then down the western border tomorrow. But the way this thing works basically is when I'm sitting here in the car, if you guys can see this right here, this is my mobile office. So I've got my semen book right here with all of our prices and all of our bulls in here if I have to go and go back to them. I know these bulls pretty good, but sometimes when you got 100 and some bulls on a semen chart, you gotta kind of get a quick reference to see what the prices are. But I mean, I got most of them memorized. Then I've got my handy dandy Bible right here. So this is the book that I write everything down in. And so as I'm going down the road, a lot of times I'll pull over and write down if somebody needs something. And then when I get done with it, it's as simple as just running a line through it when I complete it. And I write every time somebody texts me or calls me, then everything is right there in that book. Then this is my order book. I mean, it's got all my invoices right here. And then as I write an invoice, when I get done with it, then I stick them right here in this little handy dandy little tub. And then in this tub is all my invoices. And then as I get those done, then I turn those into the office. So I keep them all pretty well handy. And then what I wanted to show you, other than the fact that everybody was giving me hell about my G-bar, there's my G-bar on the car. So I put the stencil on there, but as you go in the back of this car, if you can see in the back of this car, this is where it all happens. So I've got 3 big tanks in here that all can carry about 3,000 units. And then I have 2 smaller tanks behind the seat that'll hold, roughly 650 units. And then I have my little shipper right here, and that's where I break all the canes down. So if I need to break canes down, I've got a little container back there that has extra canes and goblets on it if I've got to break one down. And then everything else is right in here. So I try to do it under here. I've got this window tinted up here so the UV rays stay out of the back, stay off the semen. I put it all in this shipper, and then I carry it into people's barns for them. So it never sees the sunlight. I try to protect it as much as I can. But like today, I was on 9 farms today, and I started in Cambridge, Ohio, and I ended up out here in Lima, and I've been on 9 farms. And so it's been a great day today. I mean, I got 7 orders on the phone that I sent to Katie at 6:05. Some of them are her. And then I call a Premium Beef there in Stillwater, who does all of our shipping for us. So everything happens right out of the back of this car. And this is my mobile office. And then, of course, you can see all the clothes hanging up. My closet's right behind me. So this is how I live my life until about the second week of June.
There you go.
So I just thought it'd be interesting if people saw how I do this and what goes on a day-to-day basis. And I literally, like I said, I mean, there was 3 guys that couldn't see me today, or I'd have been on 9 places today. I actually got to Lima here, and I still had daylight. So tomorrow I'll go see Tyler and Brad Winegardner and Curtis Klingeman out here at Winegardner Klingeman. I think Tyler's going to be on the show tonight, and then I'll go see Jones's, and then I'll head to Northwest, but I'll be home and sleep in my own bed Wednesday night. So
there you go. Good deal.
Yep.
Well, hey, Jake, thanks for being on here tonight. You be careful in your travels, and then I guess we'll talk to you next week. And big bull sale coming up.
Yep, I'll give you a big report, and hopefully
see you in Stillwater Saturday, bud.
Hey, can't wait to see you, my friend. We'll have a glass of iced tea.
You bet.
Sounds good. I'd say it will be. Yeah, made by the Long Island. I'm assuming. So, hey, all joking aside, there was some industry news today that I do feel like we need to take just a minute to touch on, Corey. The passing of an industry icon today, Mr. Ken Holloway. He was Gerald Buck said it earlier. I read it in a note. He had heard this from Scott Manley, that Ken Holloway only had 2 daughters, but he had about 100 different sons. And he said that there's a neat little deal. I wish you could find it. I don't want to butcher it up, and I'm not going to, but there was a whole lot of young men, Gerald Buck's age to Scott Manley's age, and in that era that he helped get started. He helped them give them advice, and he's just a staple in seed stock production sales. I thought of this today that there's so much about Ken Holloway today, and in terms of seed stock sales, that the younger generation has no clue. That was Ken's way. It has just become a staple of the business and how we market cattle through live auction. He passed away, past president of the North American Limousine Foundation, started American Cattle Services, I think in 1971 with Bruce Brooks, somebody that you know quite well there, Corey.
Oh yeah. Yep. I actually had a chance to work a couple sales with Ken, and just a super professional guy, that kind of brought a lot of light into the sales management industry and changed a lot of ways that sales happen and things that go on with the sale.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I encourage you. Like I said, I didn't want to too much butcher some of the stuff that I'd read today on social media about Ken's passing, but take the time to look back through what some of those guys thought of him and what he meant to this business. Those of you that are curious, I did find real quick, services will be Friday on the 8th at 2 p.m. at the Chattanooga Gym in Chattanooga, Oklahoma. So condolences to that family. The limousine breed has lost 2 icons here recently. But anyway, we'll move on out of that. Corey, tonight we also have the chance to visit with Alan Lee with Vitafirm Biozyme. Our new website's up and going. Hi, Alan. Alan's muted. There he goes. Hey,
yeah.
There you go.
Hello, Brett. Hello, Corey.
Hey, Alan, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Hey, no, our new website opened up today. You can find that at thedrivemarketing.com. And part of that is you'll see that we've got 4 yearly partnerships that we've formed, and one of them being with Vitafirm and Biozyme. We're excited to have you on for the year to visit with you and cross promote. But yeah, that's out. You can go and check that out there today. But Alan's up first. Alan, it was just funny how things worked out. Our first episode with our corporate guys happens to be on junior national preparation, and you said, "Hey, this is too awesome." I mean, tell us a little bit about Biozyme's involvement over the past, 20 years maybe, with junior national state fairs. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Brett, it's it's just one of those things around Biozyme that we hold near and dear to our heart, for lack of better words. And just supporting the youth in livestock and agriculture, and certainly it's just one of the ways that we can show that. And truthfully, I guess it's probably how I met both of you years ago in the junior livestock program. And we try to support all of the breeds the best that we can. Obviously, we're somewhat of a small company and can't support each and every one of the junior nationals every year, but we try to do certainly what we can. We've always been involved kind of from the get-go of our sponsorships or working with some of the junior programs with the Herefords, obviously. Do a lot with those guys, and Amy Cowan over there and Jack, and just a good crew by all means. I think this year it's a little out of my wheelhouse with what I do every day, Brett, at Biozyme, but I'm pretty sure this year we're going to be involved with the Herefords, the Maine and Keys, the Simmentals, and then a little close part to my heart, the Charolais. So we're pretty excited about it. We've got big plans for the summer, and I think there are some things that the young people and families that are involved in those, as well as breeders, will find to have a lot of fun and education wise. So we're just glad that we can do that. And as you look at our entire crew, there's a lot of us that are involved in the junior livestock programs in different ways. So certainly a fun part of our everyday job.
Right. You know. And there's a lot of products, Alan, that sure fall into. We'll probably touch on some of them tonight. That sure fall into stuff that youth can use with their projects as they're going into junior nationals, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. And I do believe here in a few minutes we'll touch on a few of those. And actually, you and I had a good phone conversation last week about a couple of them. So yeah, I'm anxious to get to share a few of those here in a minute. And we've got some new products out this year, which are really exciting for us. And as with anything else we do at Biozyme, there's a lot of time and research and trials that go into these products way before we come to market. So that's one of the fun parts of my job, is I get to see a lot of that before necessarily everybody else. But it's also as social as I am, and as much as I like to talk to guys like you and some of the other guys you're going to have on the show later today. I want to share some of this stuff before I'm allowed to do it. But one of our new products we'll talk about has been in the making for quite some time, and we're excited about it. But And to go back, Brett, we're really excited to partner with you guys and what y'all are doing with Cattle Drive Live, as a corporate sponsor, as you mentioned, and really believe in what y'all are trying to do, and hopefully we can be here to support you however we can. I know I saw earlier we have a Facebook group for our dealer network, and I think this is streaming on it tonight. So pretty excited about that.
Right. And Corey and I visited about the importance of having people involved with you that you, like you said, that you believe in certain things and you believe in those people. And I think that's something that, for us anyway, working with you, I mean, our relationship, friendship, the three of us right here goes back quite some time. Our kids grow up together now, but I also think the things and the values at VitaFirm and SureChamp, Biozyme lines up with what we feel like is important. And that's like incorporating you with Tyler Winegardner and Matt Scasta and Nate Tice and making the business better. It's not, this business is really so much about helping each other and networking. And I feel like this is as much networking for us as it is anything. And I'm just pleased and thankful that there's other people in the business that see it in those same eyes, as the learning is important for all of us.
You bet.
So, Corey, what about you? You guys at 605, you guys handle some VitaFirm products. Have you got your hands on this new product everybody's talking about, Extreme?
Well, yeah, you bet. Yeah, we actually stocked that. It's gonna. I mean, you tell us. You know more about it than I do, Alan. Just the difference between it and SureChamp.
Yeah, for sure, Corey. So this is one of the products I was referring to that we're really excited about. We just launched it essentially a few weeks ago, and we've taken the SureChamp Extreme product and we've added Clarifly to it. And for those of you that are not familiar with Clarifly, basically what that does is allow for a 4-fly protection. It works against horn flies, face flies, stable flies, and house flies. So basically the most fly protection that we can put into a product. And with that, it's got the heat technology that a lot of you guys that are cattlemen have used and relied on here for the past few years in terms of summer months. It's got very similar technology to that, along with Amifirm. It's got moss in there for improved gut microflora. It's got biotin and zinc for hair and hoof health, and at a relatively small feeding rate. So we're pretty excited about this. This is actually in a 40-pound bag versus a 50. We minimized the feeding rate and made it somewhat more concentrated. And I think on cattle from 750 to 1,000, it's a 4-ounce feeding. From 1,000 to 1,250, it's 5 ounces, and from 1,250 to 1,500, it's 6 ounces on this product. And it's just hitting the marketplace good. It's worked its way through the distribution channels and dealerships. So for those of you out there tuned in tonight, you should be able to get your hands on it pretty quick. From the heat technology standpoint, really anytime the temperatures stay above 70 degrees is when you need to start doing something about that and start feeding some of this product here to help alleviate the heat stress on those cattle. And the lineup of gentlemen you have coming later, I mean, they're pretty involved in the haired cattle industry, obviously, and certainly helps with that coming into this junior national period, in my opinion.
I gotcha.
And last year, Alan, was the first year that we really dove into that heat technology up here in South Dakota, and boy, especially on those sale calves in the fall, them guys put out them heat tubs, and boy, it was a significant difference after a week on those tubs. Just those cattle just being so much cooler, not doing the open air breathing, and in a time like I told several of them guys, it's showtime when them guys they get one look at them calves, and if you can have them calves comfortable, it makes all the difference in the world.
You bet. And Corey, I really enjoyed that conversation with you last week, and as Brett mentioned, you guys at 605, obviously very valued dealer of ours, and do a really nice job promoting our product to customers that come through there. But I certainly enjoyed hearing some of your testimonial stories about this product last week when we were visiting. One of my favorite products we've had, the stress tub, we've had it for quite a few years, and then we added the heat technology to it. And, we've got 8 traps at the barn, and there's always 8 of these sitting out in those traps. So we rely on these pretty heavily at our place.
Absolutely.
Nothing like a stress tub that has some heat help in it as well, especially for us guys down south. Corey, I have a hard time believing it gets hot enough in South Dakota for you to complain about the heat.
On a warm day in August, we'll run with you.
The first time I went and visited Corey, Brett, was on the 4th day of January about 15 years ago, and I swore I'd never go back to South Dakota in January. And then I think the next time was in August, and it was one of those days he was talking about, and I just decided South Dakota might not be for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then some other products that I think are really nice is your VitaCharge line, Alan. I mean, I know you've got several different products that you encourage guys to use. Talk to us about a few of those.
Yeah, for sure, Brett. One of our faster growing product lines we've got, and we certainly just appreciate everybody's loyalty to this product line. It grew significantly last year, and I attribute most of that to the fact that the products work and you can visually see them work within a relatively short amount of time. And so, after Cattlemen's Congress there, I was at the office the following week or 2 weeks later, and the amount of stalls where I saw a jug of VitaCharge drench hanging was very refreshing to see in the show cattle barns. And that's a product that a lot of people rely on. When we have our tent at Denver, you would be amazed at the people that come in. Hey, do you have any of that green stuff? I need some of that green drench today. A product that I think moving forward, you'll see, potentially see some different size options in it, maybe to make it a little more user friendly. Just some conversations we're having internally to see if there's a fit for that. But just a great product's been around a while. The 2 at the bottom of the screen there, the VitaCharge gel, very there's some similarities with that in the drench, but a lot more user friendly for that family that has 1 or 2 show heifers versus buying a 5-liter jug of the drench.
Gotcha.
And then some real similar technology in that very bottom one there, the VitaCharge climate control. You know, those dog days of summer, and we've all had them when we were hauling the junior nationals. This is a great way to get that technology into those cattle and keep them eating and feeling comfortable, if you will. So, you know, the drench is a 1 to 2 ounce dose, so not much. And then on the climate control and the gel, they're 15 milliliter dosages, and you know, you can do that up to a couple times a day when you're on the road. So,
gotcha. Good deal. Well, Alan, I got to tell you, it's been a pleasure for us to get to visit with you tonight. I want to thank you from the crew here at Cattle Drive for being a part of our adventure here this next year. I can see it's going to be fun, and talking to the girls in your marketing department. I don't think they were as excited as we are, but they were pretty close to it. So it was.
We'll get some excitement going, and you know, we appreciate all of you guys and appreciate all of our customers and dealers, and come out of one of the biggest months we've had at Biozyme here, coming out of March, and just really exciting times ahead. And we've got some really exciting stuff to incorporate in our partnership with you guys moving forward. So thanks for having us and giving us the opportunity.
Absolutely. Hey, you take care on the road, and we'll see you next month.
You tell Kent, Jakey, if he has a little extra time, if he can make 9 farm visits a day, I need him to come talk to our sales team, because he's hustling to get that done.
Exactly. They might just buy a bag of mineral to get him out of there.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Thank
See
you,
you. Oh, man. There's some love around, isn't there? Hey, I'll tell you, I don't want to waste any more time. I mean, we hadn't wasted any yet. It's a big night, but I can tell you, the next 3 guys that's going to be on this show, you have to ride a fast pony to get 3 bigger names. And like you said earlier, just in terms of having these show cattle look impeccable about everywhere that they go, and a lot of them is for multiple families. These guys do a great job. Matt Scasta is with us tonight with Buck Cattle Company. He's one of my oldest best friends, I guess. I said Matt's like a 9-time world champion when it comes to being herdsman of the year. He took some of that Gerald Buck hardware, them Buck and Bull world champions, and he put it to use. But no, congratulate Matt. He's a Maine Anjou herdsman of the year. He's a Hereford herdsman of the year. And then he was a Sullivan Pulse herdsman of the year. So we're going to get him a new belt or something. That way he can get all the hardware on there. But Tyler Winegardner is with us tonight. Winegardner and Klingeman Show Cattle in Lima. Tyler's a herdsman of the year of himself, I think. I'm not so sure. Were you a Maine and a Key, or just a Key?
Just Key.
Just a Key. Okay. Yep. Shoot, these guys do as good a job as anybody. Earlier, Tyler, I hope I didn't cause much stir. I called you the Beast from the East on social media. So, but no. And then Nate Tice, Sullivan Farms is with us, and you'd about have to be born under a rock to not know the Sullivan crew, and there's the main behind them. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. I don't know what lies we'll get out of you today, but we'll try. So.
Yes, sir.
Corey, drive this ship for a minute.
Yeah, you bet. Well, obviously the topic tonight is going to be preparation and get you guys' opinions on different ways of doing things in the show barn, because everybody wants their stuff, looking the best at junior nationals. And we're going into a time of year here that, cattle don't look their best, and we got to get them shaped up and get them ready to go for them summer shows. So I guess just one by one here, just kind of talk about how you guys, especially you, Nate, you pinpoint a different breeds for different. I mean, you're talking about when the junior nationals start mid-June, and your last one is 40 days later, or dinks are 30. Is there stuff? Do you start on them sooner or later? Is there ways that you treat them cattle differently if you're dealing with different endpoints?
Yeah, good question, Corey. I think it's different breed by breed to a point, and darn sure different in different climates. Like I might be doing different stuff now than what Matt would be in Oklahoma or what Tyler would be doing in Ohio, and that probably plays as much of a role in it as anything. So that's probably part of it. I mean, endpoints, like you said, you might have one show you're shooting for the 20th of June, and one the Angus show might be the 20th of July. So, and so there's different things you can do as far as shearing or shedding or things like that, as far as starting over and regrouping, I guess, as far as basically what we're trying to do this time of year is we're getting rid of the old hair, and we're trying to get rid of their winter coat and try to regroup and get a new coat in there. So, and it's different breed by breed. Like I would say, like a Mananju or a Key or a Shorthorn, we've always had better luck with using a shedding comb on. And then like an Angus, we've had better luck with shearing them about roughly this time of year with like 7112s or a whatever blade suits you the best, 5/8 guard or whatever suits y'all the best, whatever's comfortable for your climate. But yeah, I guess that's kind of something that we look for. And as far as when to start, my rule has always been roughly 100 days, I guess, from starting till backtrack from when you want to show. 100 days before is when I would say to start on your calf.
Gotcha.
Matt,
So
Tyler?
do you start that? Do you start that 100-day deal from that endpoint, right?
Honestly, the older I get, maybe I'm a little slower on that because we like to leave them kicked out a little bit longer. But no, we try to, but there's a lot comes into play. And I know Tice deals with it a bunch. We're still cold up here. I mean, we're really cold. It's 35, 40 and snowing and raining and miserable. And so these things still, whether we shear them or shed them, they still kind of got to go through a shedding process, or it's kind of hard to get them back restarted and going. And so everything here's still kicked out. We're kind of calf by calf, kind of like Tice said, of if we're going to shear one or shed them. There was several of these key heifers types then there were some steers that this year didn't get sheared off because they were still really fresh haired here come the end of March. And we've had some bad luck when we sheared some fresh haired ones and it was kind of a mess the rest of the year. So we shed on them, and then there's some that are slicked off and ready to go. And in fact, they're getting fuzzy again already. We've been so cold still lately. So we need a little heat just to kind of get them to go ahead and get that through that process, just to go and be springtime, and then we can kind of restart, put them in the barn. And actually, when you get started on them, they'll go pretty good if they've already kind of shed off. So,
Matthew, what about you?
Well, basically, it's all the same story. We're already ahead of y'all because we're already warmer, but we're always chasing you guys because y'all always get them hairier quicker. Y'all know that.
yeah.
On our black ones, most of our families, they either use a plucking blade and go down, or they shed them out. Most time on our Herefords, we shear them off, just because it's always like the Herefords are the third week in July now, so we're planning on starting on those May 1st. But pretty much it's the same story. We shoot for 100 days and just kind of let them do their deal and see how far we get.
Gotcha. So the shedding and shearing deal, each of you talked about it's case by case. What are for those folks here that are wanting to learn and not understanding case by case? Matt, what is it specifically that a family should look for to say, you know what, we need to shed this one or we need to shear this one instead of a time? What are you looking for?
I'd say the biggest part of it is if it's a harder haired one for say, or a coarser haired one, a person probably wants to shed it out versus shearing it off. If it's a good coated one and, have some body to it, a lot of times when you shear those off, it comes back better.
There you go.
Yep. Matt, when did you recognize that you needed to slick yourself off?
Oh, that started a long time ago. Long time ago. Whenever I started working for Gerald.
He rubbed it out. Oh gosh, I like that. Let's talk about daily routines for you guys, and then we might just go in reverse order. Matt, talk to us a little about daily routines from feeding times. Do you like to, a lot of people say, well, how often do I need to soap one or use conditioner or rinse 1 or 3 times a day? Talk about your daily routine.
When we start on these, we'll try and have them fed by 7:30 and get them in, before the sun gets to rising up on us. And, around here we have so many other projects. I mean, we get them rinsed and brushed and put in. And, as it starts getting warmer and, we start seeing that hair to start turning and growing, we give it about 30, 45 days and we'll go to rinsing twice a day. And we do a lot of brushing until we get, that hair to turn. And we then after that, we go to blowing about the last 45 days. But the rest of the time is mostly just brushing. And our kind of rule of thumb around here, I mean, Davey and Loggins that works for me, we know once we get started back on these show cattle, whether if it's right or wrong, we soap every Monday. That way, if one of us isn't here, that's just our rule of thumb. Some guys do it way more than that, but we know at least it gets done on Mondays. It's kind of been our rule of thumb forever. As far as conditioner, as we get to rinsing 2 times a day, we use mane and tail in the mornings, and we'll rinse it out in the evenings, just because our nights are so warm. And that sometimes that conditioner is pretty heavy on them for warm nights. So we put it in the mornings and wash it out in the evenings, or rinse it out in the evenings, and start all over again the next day.
You bet. Tyler, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I guess we're kind of similar on the starting on them. Where we're fortunate enough is there'll be a lot of these nights where it's cool at 7 o'clock and we'll kick them out. So they get to see a little more daylight up here probably than what they do in Oklahoma. But on the breeding heifer side, on the steer side, I mean, when it's time to go, them 100, 105, 10 days out, I mean, they don't see daylight for 100 days or 110 days or whatever it is of them state fairs or even a county fair. And so, that's just kind of keep them cold and grow as much as you can and get them hairy. But these heifers, we still treat them like females as much as we can because, it's time of year where we're trying to get them bred. And the more they can be outside, the better, because we're going to deal with a long, hot, humid summer as well. It just might not start quite as early as what it is for you guys. But we do the exact same thing. Monday mornings is when we soap, basically because we try to take some Sundays off and not do quite as much and be with the kids and everything like that. So Monday mornings we soap, and we try to condition a few times a week. Our water up here in this part of the world's hard. So we're constantly putting something in them to keep their hides and their hair soft to do that. So it's a little different probably, but we're probably putting more sheen and more oil and things in them than maybe other people, because we don't maybe have as hot of nights at times. But the humidity will still get us. But yeah, that's when kind of try to start into April, 1st of May on them.
Nate, you got anything to add?
We're a little bit different here, I guess. We soap every day. And I use Clear Choice because from where I'm at, it works. But I kind of truly believe in some kind of mild shampoo, not a dish soap type of shampoo. I do believe in some sort of mild soap once a day. And like Tyler said, we're fortunate enough here to have cooler nights, so we might, once we start getting into rinsing twice a day, we might we might oil them in the morning, and then rinse them out at night, and then when they go out at night, they have some clean sheen or whatever, some sort of sheen in their hair. So that's kind of way we kind of get some oil back in them. Is during the day when they're under a fan out of the sun. But like Tyler said, we're kind of the same way as far as the sun's going down, we're catching a little shade, or they're going out and treat them like females as much as we can. And then, this time of year, we might be rinsing on them some, but we'll rinse them and kick them right back outside. I mean, shoot, it was, we're still dealing with 45-degree days, snow here and there. I mean, we might get another snow day in April. So it's a little different, like you said, it's a little different in different parts of the world, but that's kind of the way we try to do it, I guess.
Yep. Do you believe in blowing them things out, Nate, or you like just brushing them and leaving them wet, or?
That's a good point. We kind of do both. Any kind of brushing you can do. We'll start rice root brushing them for as long as we can stand it, I guess. Some of the kids do it better than I might, for darn sure. Once Sarah gets home, she'll probably brush longer than I will. But we'll start brushing them, rice root, and then blow them dry, and then we'll put something in their hair and roto brush them, and then blow on some more. So it just as much as you can get in, whatever brush it might be, I think the better.
Mm-hmm.
What about you other guys? Are you guys blower hands or brushing, or what is it you like, or leaving them part way? What's y'all's scoop?
We blow them dry every time. I don't know if it's the right or wrong thing to do, but that's what we do. And then we do a lot of roto brushing. On them sheared ones, when it's kind of long enough, you can start breaking it around. It seems like it helps a bunch and gets their tail heads and their hips and their backs all broke forward, and makes such a huge difference in the summertime when it comes to dressing them. And then we've kind of found too, on these ones we're shedding, them roto brushes it'll stimulate that undergrowth where you're just trying to get it back. It's coming back and training it and breaking it. But I don't know, we've just, for as long as I can remember, we've basically just blew them dry every time. Now we do a lot of brushing after they're dry. We'll stand there and brush on them under the fans, but every time they are bone dry as we can get them around here.
Matt, you said your thoughts on it. You start off for the first month or so and just brush them ahead, and then kind of start working that hair as it starts turning.
Yeah, I think one reason why we brush we probably use a brush more than anything is, especially first thing in the mornings. I mean, of course we have cool rooms and stuff, but I think if you can leave them just a little bit damp, we can get a little chill on them. Starting the day off chilled, and they can kind of accumate a little bit into that. And like I say, it takes us a little while to catch up to you other two guys. So we got to work at it, as far as brushing. But when we get down to like I said, 30, 45 days out, that's when we will go to blowing and combing and that kind of stuff, getting it to turn. And, I always said, people's always worried about summertime hair, and, kind of my rule of thumb, and everybody kind of laughs at me, but I've always said, if you could put a line in it with a Scotch comb, we can get it glued up somehow. So that's right. kind of our motto around here anyway.
Yep.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I see.
Hey,
yeah.
What about some of these other products, guys? There's several products out there. The Sure Coat, the Hide and Hair, the Grow and Shine. Is there any other of them type of products that you guys, for that time of year with the breeding cattle? I guess that's kind of mainly what we're dealing with. I mean, it's different with the steer deal. I'm sure, Tyler, you deal with that a lot more. You probably pump some more melatonin into those things. Tell us a little bit about some of those differences and some of them products that you guys use or don't use.
We don't use any melatonin or really any feed and hair supplements on these heifers. I feel like we got to have so much life out of them from junior nationals all the way through a state fair, potentially Louisville to Denver, Oklahoma City. So, I can tell you with that melatonin, when you quit, I mean, you are done. Like it's good, but when you stop feeding it, it's all but over. And so, and then it's really hard to get their cycle back flipped and go again. So we've been pretty fortunate, and that's some things we do too, is like if we're gearing one for state fair on in the fall, they may not go in the cooler up here, or if we're just going for, junior national state fair, they go in the cooler. And I will say it's really hard to max them out twice. And so we're trying to fight that battle a little bit up here too, is, we can get them really, really, really hairy for June through August if we need to, but it also is hard to get them re-hairy again. So the melatonin thing, we don't feed anything like that to these cattle. On the breeding effort side, yeah, Corey, these steers, we pump it at them as much as we can get in them, get them things as hairy as we can. So, but no, the heifer side, it's just, and honestly, I feel like sometimes it's hard enough to get them bred, so don't want to mess with Mother Nature, mess with God too much, just let them be as normal as we can. So,
Sure.
Go ahead, Tice.
Yeah, for us, we're the same way. I've kind of experimented with all of them, and I've never really just had the best of luck trying to get them pinpointed. And Tyler made a good point, like especially if we might have different heifers that we're pinpointing for different shows, and that's fine. But like, say one kid has one calf he wants to show at junior nationals, the state fair, and go on into the fall in Oklahoma City or even OYE if you're in that part of the world, that'd be about impossible to keep fresh hair on that, the whole way through, especially if you were trying to feed some sort of stuff. But it seems like it really has a distinct shelf life as far as feeding any sort of hair growth melatonin type of product.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I mean, there's no doubt, and those products work. I've never had much luck, with any of it. We're no scientists down here, but it's so hard for us going all the way through Oklahoma City. We kind of gear up for junior nationals, and basically from the end of July to Tulsa, I mean, we keep working on those, and it seems like once you start them on something like that, you can't ever get that hair cycle. Nobody knows the hair cycle. If somebody can figure that out, they can make a lot of money.
Oh, man.
yep, you got it.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that,
It's tough.
speaking of that cycle, do you guys do you believe in that, in the signs, or do you watch those almanac and when you slick those ones you do slick, or when you clip in the summer, do you make sure you're on the right day?
We do. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but it might be voodoo, but we do, I guess. So, yeah. Just kind of go with it now, and it seems like it's a habit now. That's what we do. So,
Right.
I'm the same way. I used to never do it, and now we sure follow them, right or wrong. It maybe necessarily isn't trying to go on the right day, but darn sure make sure we're not on the negative day.
yeah, that's right. Yep.
Most of them are on one day into the negative day already.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. What about, let's talk about like fly control and feed additives. We visited about with Alan Lee earlier, some of this stuff through the summer, that combats some heat or combat some flies. What do you guys like? Is something you just mix in your sheen, or, I mean, what do you like fly control summertime in the fall?
Yeah, we're pretty basic. We'll mix a little bit of fly, like a concentrated fly spray in our sheen and just use it that way. Definitely in the fall time, like our flies will get really bad the later summer on through the fall, especially when we get all them sail calves in. And so we've always got a little bit of concentrated fly spray in there. And then try to have some in our middle or our lick tubs like that, but definitely in our sheen to some extent. We're not drowning them with it every day to burn them, but a little bit in there seems to go a long way.
Yeah, we're about the same way. We use a little bit of Repel X, and when we get into the fall, we'll use some Silence or something like that. But Yeah, it's just kind of one of those deals. I mean, there's a lot of those different products that you just don't want to get anything too heavy on them. Just where it's not, especially in our country, like we're talking about it being getting their body heat warm with some kind of oily substance.
I'd say we're basically the same way. The only thing different we might do is we spray our barn maybe every 45, 60 days with something. I can't even tell you what it's called because I'm not sure, but it's just like to spray the bedding and to spray the walls and stuff to kind of knock that out of there. It does help, but other than that, just a little bit of something in the machine to kind of keep them off.
Yeah. Hey, what do you guys do in the summertime? Because I hear about kids doing it up here all the time. They'll go to pouring those things in the summer and burning them and stuff. What do you guys do for lice control in the summertime when you're in the cooler and stuff like that?
We don't pour them in the summertime. We will double worm them the week before they go in the cooler, or in the barn. I mean, we double them up as hard as we can, and then we don't touch them again until we are done showing in the summertime. Or say some of those heifers that are done after junior nationals, we'll pour them and kick them out. Or if they got to get through a state fair, we'll pour them and kick them out then for a while. But once we go in the summer, we don't pour them at all. And knock on something, we've had pretty good luck at not having to fight lice around here in the summertime.
Gotcha.
We're the same way. Of course, we don't have much lice problems till we get into late fall, and obviously in the spring that's when we fight the lice the worst around OIE time.
Yeah.
Same way here. We fight it in the spring, but other than that, the fall's not too bad. We'll probably pour them 1st September probably. And to answer your question, Corey, we would soap it out the next day. And I don't know if that is leaving it in long enough to do its job, but if you do that, it doesn't seem like it burns them anyway. So
Sure.
So what about you guys? Talk to the kid out here that's got one calf and he's wanting to go to junior national this summer, and then his state fair fires up in the fall, and that kid maybe he's got to try to get that same calf ready to go to Fort Worth or San Antonio. What advice do you give that kid in terms of being ready at multiple times through the year? Let's not even get into cooler or no cooler situation, but what advice do you give that kid?
Go ahead, Matt. You deal with this more than anybody.
I'd say the biggest deal is just to keep them clean. I mean, it's as long as their skin's clean and is in good condition. I think that's the biggest thing of it. I mean, I know Tice said that they soap every day, but I think if their skin's clean, that helps everything. I mean, whether you're working on them every day or going through the motions, as long as their skin's clean. I mean, especially when we go into the spring, I mean, it's real tough in the spring because we can't wash those things as much because they're wanting to slip their hair and they're wanting to itch, and it's kind of a catch-22 there. Do you wash them or do you not? So I guess to answer your question is you can go into the fall, trying to grow as much hair as you can in the fall and keeping their skin clean and working their hair. And especially for us and down in Texas and your southern states, it's just hoping you can hold on to it. That's our biggest challenge.
Right. Gotcha.
We've kind of found up here a little bit, and I don't know if Tice agrees with this or not, but if we've kind of clipped them on some of them good hair days you were talking about with the almanac, like throughout the year, like maybe there in August after a state fair or in September a little bit, just putting some lines in them and maybe, clipping their throats and their chests a little bit. It seems like, I don't know, maybe you can get some regrowth and get them started again. And I don't know if it makes any sense or not, but sometimes the ones we kick out cold turkey and after junior nationals, then seems like you're fighting an uphill battle for so long trying to get them to re-go again. So I don't know. Right. Keep rinsing on them, keeping them clean, like Matt said, helps a bunch too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you guys on that. Sometimes I almost wonder if you're trying to hold it for a long time, like not clipping them helps some too.
Yeah, for sure.
In our country, after about Fort Worth in our country, you clip them, it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah. So sometimes you're just trying to hang on as long as you can. And I mean, Matt, what do you guys do in the spring when you're trying to hold for like OYE or something?
A lot of hot wire and cross your fingers. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
I've never seen that at that steer show down there at OYE. There's hot wire everywhere.
Yeah.
In the stalls. I mean, I've never seen that before, but you'll have your stalls all set up and there'll be hot wires hung up right on the side panels.
You came by there this year and you were like, look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm telling you, John Sullivan's never been to OYE, I can promise you, because if he has, he would have a smart panel built for you guys and y'all would buy it. Yeah. Y'all do everything.
Tice wrote it down.
I'm telling you right now, Corey has hit it on the nail on the head. Show cattle displays at OYE have hot wire built around the cattle.
Little insert for the insulators.
Yeah, insert. Yeah, there you go.
A lot of them have rubber hoses around. Yeah, that was quite a deal.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. We could just sit here and go on and on and on. But guys, as we start to wind this evening down, y'all saw social media. I put it out there. Most of these questions were derived from people that wanted to hear these things. We put it out there, and that's what we got back. But there was a question that was asked multiple times. Away from the cattle, Matt, I'll start with you. We're just going to go clockwise, Matt, then Tyler, and then Nate. The common question was this. Away from the cattle and away from the success that you guys have had, what's your greatest life achievement? What are you the most proud of?
Well, I'm going to start off, and I'm sure Tyler will be the same. I got two amazing boys, and my world revolves around them.
That's good stuff. Tyler?
Yeah, definitely. My wife and my kids, and they are everything to me, and so very fortunate to have a very tolerant wife and mother and father and all the above with this family program we're in. But those boys, they're pretty special, and they're wild and a lot of fun. So.
Well, you guys are making it hard on me. I don't have a wife or kids, so made it a little tricky on me. Gosh, I don't know. I would say maybe just more of the relationships we built along the way in this thing, and making guys like you guys are like family. I mean, it's like an extended family in this thing. I mean, my mom and dad did everything for me growing up to get me into this position, so I appreciate them and everything they've done. And then when you get into this business, you know, there's a lot of cutthroat stuff, but guys like you, like everybody standing here, I mean, this is what it's all about. This is awesome.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think people realize just how much we rely on each other. Matt and I talk a lot. Corey and I talk. Tyler and I, we all talk to each other. And I think that's something that the industry doesn't quite understand is I look at you three guys as leaders in the business, and I don't think the other people realize how much you guys lean on each other.
And, here's another thing. We've all beat each other numerous times. But, hey, we're all buddies in the end.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Well, hey, we're going to wrap this little turkey up here. There's a basketball game to be played tonight, and our boss said on text message, you've got 7 minutes. So when Paige speaks, you listen. But I'll tell you, we've never we've closed one of these out without doing this, but we close it each time with a segment we called Cattlemen for Christ. And I'm going to tell you that tonight's reading is going to be Proverbs 18:15, and that is, an intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seek knowledge. And I thought about that with you guys tonight. Those of us smart enough to listen to you, we're going to absorb it. But just as equal, you guys that are smart enough to give it, you're always listening as well. So that's from Proverbs, and we're going to wrap that thing up. We got a little teaser for the next 5 weeks, Corey. Where are we headed to? The evolution of the Club Calf Bull?
Yep. We're going to try to identify the best bulls in the industry that have kind of made that part of the cattle industry in the show steer world, and we're gonna get with those guys that owned and bred those great sires and kind of start at the beginning and go to modern times.
Hey, Black Power Play, Sugar Ray, Throttle Flush, Meyer 734, Heat Seeker, Heat Wave, MAB, Who Made Who. We're going to walk our way through to current day today, and you'll see how they intertwine. So follow us on that. Guys, thanks for being with us tonight. Thanks for being a part of it. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.